Mr. Chairman and members, last week I advised my Conservative colleagues that I would stand down as leader of this council on the 11th of December and pass the baton on to somebody new. Over the last decade, local government has gone through some of the most extraordinary and challenging times. We have achieved a great deal over the past 10 years. Despite these difficulties, and I feel, with the county firmly set on an exciting new vision for the future, now is the right time for me to stand aside. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to reflect this morning on the many benefits that we have delivered for Surrey. When I became Deputy Leader in 2009, the country had just experienced the crash of the financial markets across the world, and the consequences of that crash quickly hit local government. Since then, a staggering £16 billion has been cut from local government funding nationally, with over £230 million cut from services for Surrey residents. On top of that, this Conservative administration has reduced the costs to our taxpayers by £540 million over the last 8 years, and we are on target to achieve a further £106 million this year. This is an extraordinary achievement in difficult times. But we kept going, thanks to the tough decisions we've made, always having residents at the centre of our thinking. It was clear to me back then that we needed to transform our services and reduce our costs. I launched a public value review of every single department and service with terrific support from officers across the council. We found £287 million of savings by doing things differently. The lessons of the last 10 years in local government is that while we are focused on improving efficiencies, preserving services, despite the increasing demands of children and adult social care, our task has been made continually more difficult for us by circumstances beyond our control. In 2011, the government decreed that the National Health Service should hand over responsibilities for severe learning disabilities to local government. Surrey County Council received over 860 individual cases, and the NHS passed over £65 million of annual funding, with promises of inflation funding to follow. It's extremely disappointing that the government has not only failed to do that, but has also completely eroded that funding. So today, we no longer receive a single penny. It means that Surrey Council taxpayers have been left to fund this vital service for vulnerable residents. Similarly, the government in 2013 decided to hand responsibility for public health back to councils, but the annual funding was immediately cut by more than £14 million to this council. It is sometimes difficult for anyone involved in local government to accept that, despite continually finding efficiencies and savings, continually weathering the cuts of funding, and continually facing increased demands for children and adult services, that councils are expected to carry on regardless, while the health service is handed more and more funding. In many ways, Mr. Chairman, I believe we have been victims of our own success. Nonetheless, we have worked hard with the health service to bring health and social care closer together. We've seen the emergence of Surrey Heartlands as a devolution partnership, but I remain concerned at the level of work and time commitment required to make a reality of a truly integrated system. I still have reservations about the tangible outcomes and whether this initiative really does support us in helping us to reduce the cost for adult social care services in Surrey. I totally support the principle of the government's 10-year funding plan for the NHS, but there needs to be a concurrent 10-year plan for adult social care. Without it, the health and social care system will one day be brought to a standstill. The challenges we have faced since 2009 have not always been financial. During December and January 2014, we witnessed some of the heaviest rainfall in Surrey, which resulted in flooding to many homes in the county. The devastation caused to homes in Surrey was the highest recorded in UK. I must pay tribute to our previous Chief Executive, David McNulty, for his professionalism in handling this crisis. And since then, we have worked tirelessly with the Environment Agency to draw up a plan for much improved flood protection along the Thames and in other areas across Surrey. We now know that the Thames scheme is nearly ready for sign-off by Her Majesty's Treasury, but there is still a funding gap of £257 million to resolve. Despite these challenges, there have been moments of great celebrations. In 2010, I was delighted to put Surrey forward as the site for the 2012 London Olympic cycling event. They were a remarkable success thanks to all the hard work and commitment of so many at the County Council. That Olympic legacy continues today with the annual London Surrey cycling events, which have raised considerable funds for national and local charities. On the 22nd of July 2013, the new Walton Bridge was opened between Walton and Shepperton. I'd like to pay a personal tribute to our previous leader, Nick Skellett, who was hugely instrumental in ensuring the delivery of a very much needed bridge between Shepperton and Walton. And then, Mr. Chairman, there was the event in 2015 to commemorate 800th anniversary of Magna Carta. Once again, the county delivered an outstanding event in partnership with Runnymede Borough Council. The world's eyes were on Surrey that day, and our officers, along with Surrey Police, the Royal Holloway College University, delivered events that we could be rightly proud of. The Jura chairs will be a lasting legacy of this historic event, sitting on Runnymede Common. In addition, we will see the Eco Park open in the new year, providing the next generation of waste treatment facilities for Surrey households. And we've rebuilt fire stations, Mr. Chairman, in Guildford, in Woking, in Salford, and a new one will open soon in Fordbridge, Mr. Evans. Woking Fire Station was built with 31 flats above it, and I believe this is the future for all of our fire stations. These flats can provide much needed accommodation to key public servants and young people in order they have a place that they can call home. Over the last 10 years, I've worked with the leaders and chief executives of the 11 boroughs and districts. I'm grateful for their personal support. As we develop our vision for Surrey 2030, I strongly believe they will play an important role in changing local government services throughout Surrey for all of our residents. In addition, we have supported the work of the local enterprise partnerships, the Enterprise M3 and Coaster Capital. This work has seen an investment of over £50 million for the benefit of Surrey residents, including significant improvements to the Runnymede Roundabout, the Meadows Gyratory and the A22 Network Resilience Scheme. And while our work to improve roads for our residents has continued, we launched Operation Horizon, and today we can see the improvement it has made to many Surrey roads. We've also lobbied hard for further funding for Surrey roads. This work will continue, but I am pleased the government has begun to listen to us, and the Chancellor announced extra money in the budget for roads. We must continue to push Surrey to get its fair share of the vehicle exercise duty raised in Surrey, so that can be spent on Surrey roads. That's what I call fairness. To meet the financial challenges, we have had to be resourceful and courageous. In 2012, this council made a brave and historic decision in not accepting the government's offer of a council tax freeze grant. We went against the majority in national and local government at that time. But that decision by this council has led to an extra £250 million since 2012 to help us supporting public services for Surrey residents. Mr. Chairman, I've long felt that the solution to our financial pressures will not be found in government. Yes, fair funding by government ministers can help us. Yes, proper retention of business rates will make a difference, we hope. But at the end of the day, we must determine our own future. That was the reason why in 2013 I launched a long-term investment strategy to create an income stream of up to 10 million a year by 2020. And an assets and property strategy agreed by Cabinet last month has the potential to raise an extra 25 million a year by 2030. These initiatives are vital as we resolve the financial implications of the huge rise in the number of children with special education needs. I was able to persuade We as corporate parents cannot fail these children in need. So we have set up plans to reform the services we offer to them and their families. We will be working with schools and the health service to deal with issues earlier on and closer to home. And Mr. Chairman, I look to all members of this council to be champions for our children in need. But there is, of course, still more to do. It is with deep regret that Surrey failed its Children's Service Ofsted inspection in 2015. I can honestly say, Mr. Chairman and members, that I am now confident that with the appointment of Dave Hill, Surrey is now in the hands of a children's services specialist, and the changes he is making will bring better services for Surrey children. Thank you, David. But we will only be successful if we members and officers work together more effectively with our partners and they with us. We cannot change the world on our own. We'd love to try. Change will not happen overnight, and we are still perhaps 2 or 3 years away from where we believe children's services should be. Outside of Surrey, I was privileged to be elected to the chairmanship of the County Council network and then leadership of the Conservative group at the LGA. In those roles, I was able to stand up and fight for change, often behind closed doors. Change which has benefited people in Surrey and nationally. I was able to persuade government to implement the fair funding process before enacting the business rates reform, and to allow local authorities to raise the percept locally for adult social care. But first and foremost, it's been my role at Surrey that has always been my priority. I'm deeply thankful to everyone who's contributed and taken a role in my cabinet over the years. We've faced difficult times, we've made difficult decisions, but it's been hugely enjoyable and a satisfying role, working to make Surrey a better place. In particular, I'm very grateful to my deputies, Peter Martin, who has always been ready with a quiet piece of advice and support. Often we would debate issues before we heard them, usually in Peter's office. He was a loyal and hard-working deputy, and under his stewardship as military champion, the County Council is one of the national leaders in the support and commitment to the military. And what could be more important today than for all of us to remember those who've gone before us, and never forget those in uniform who are doing their best on our behalf. In the last 18 months, John has kindly stepped into that role of deputy leader, and I'm grateful to you both. I have no doubt that the new leader and their cabinet, whoever they are, will go from strength to strength with the support of a great senior management team and professional officers across Surrey. And I thank all officers for the support they have given me over the years. I'm sure they're probably glad I'm going now, so I don't have to pester them. Mr. Chairman, I've been privileged to serve with so many hard-working Conservative members of our group since 2009, and we've won 3 elections in that time. I thank them for their loyalty and dedication. And of course, I would like to say thank you to the opposition leaders and members, when occasionally I've traded exchanges with over the years. The very cornerstone of our democracy is the importance of different voices and challenges, but in a respectful way. I always believe, be respectful of the opposition. Our political views may differ, but one thing I believe that unites us all is our desire to do the very best for our residents. And when a member assumes the role of leader, it's critical never to lose sight of your own division. I'd like to say a genuine and sincere thank you to all my district councillors in the Wallingham division for their loyal support over the years. I'm also indebted to the parish council and the parish clerks who together do so much to improve the lives of local residents. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank my colleagues on the Tanbridge Local Committee for the support and sometimes even putting up with me. Not sure why. I must thank those who have worked in partnership to bring services to our residents, particularly the wonderful voluntary, the community and faith sector, who have been integral during my time as leader, and they are key to this council's long-term future. Ultimately, it has been an honour to serve the residents of Surrey as leader of the council, and I cannot think of any role that has brought me so much satisfaction, despite the work and challenges and the loss of weekends. I firmly believe we have achieved great things in the face of adversity, and I am delighted that we have secured the best possible senior management team led by a truly outstanding Chief Executive, Joanna Killen. Thank you. Together we have put the county on a course to a brighter vision in 2013 and a transformation plan that will bring lasting benefits for our residents. There is, of course, a positive side to standing down as leader. I will genuinely be able to spend more time with my wife, Anne, although she may not see that as positive. I'm wondering how long it'll be before she tells me to get out of the house and do something. But Anne has been a real inspiration to me in this role. I have no doubt, without her support, her voice of wisdom, caution, her reasoning and understanding, this job would have been far more difficult. She is my rock, and has always been there no matter what the issues or challenges. As we move into the next chapter of the history of the County Council, I wanted to leave you with a simple proverb, which I believe is relevant to us all. If you want to go far, go fast alone. But if you really want to go far, go together. And I would like members and officers and partners, all of us, to hold that proverb dear as we work towards a vision for Surrey in 2030. Finally, Mr. Chairman and members, can I personally thank you all for allowing me the privilege and honour to serve as the leader of this County Council. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.